Well, it would have been over 30 some odd years ago as a young teenager, maybe 12, 13 years old, that growing up in North Burnaby, we were fortunate enough that we were able to head down to the BCTV Studios just off of Loweed Highway when we were at that age. And at that time, there was a local talk show, or national talk show, I guess, being taped there. And we used to go and see that, and that was the Alan Thicke Show. And as kids, we would go quite frequently and be a part of the audience, and they would have door prizes. I remember my twin brother won a lifetime supply of Cody perfume, among other things. Many other prizes we had won over the time of visiting and being a part of the audience, and it was great. Several of the things that I recall from the Alan Thicke Show, being a part of the studio audience quite frequently, was just how much of a class act that Alan Thicke was. He always treated all of the guests and all of the audience just as if we were just another part of his family or his circle of friends. The way he would just talk to you, he was down to earth, he was respectful and courteous. I'm sure that other people would have different stories on productions. But for mostly what I've heard, that's just the nature of how Alan Thicke was. And it seems to be that was just his lifestyle, and the way that he wanted to approach life was with respect and admiration for others, not only within his industry, but just in general. And some of the memories I have would be watching the actors and other celebrities in their interviews, and being a young kid. It was just thrilling because we were up close and we got to get autographs and meet all of these celebrities. Uh, Most of the time, they were very pleasant. There were times where a few of the celebrities were very egotistical and just really didn't treat the fans that were there to meet them very well. But that set aside, I'm not going to mention any names on that. But there were other times that I've got great fond memories of many of the artists that were there, and that would include Doug and the Slugs. They were just to the side of the risers where the audience would sit. And I was right at the edge and able to chat with them a bit. And we were telling jokes and laughing a bit. And we got in trouble for one of the stagehands because I guess we were laughing a little loud while they were taping this show. So we had to quiet down a bit. And they told us one more time to quiet down or go out in the hallway. So, of course, we had to settle it down, especially being that they were guests on the show and performing. They were just a very cool group, and they were just making it big at that time, I guess. But just for them to treat a 12 or 13-year-old kid the way that they did has always had a lasting impression on me. And also meeting Brooke Shields at that time at the show and getting her autograph, and being 13, 14, or 12 at the time that I was, and meeting Brooke Shields was kind of a big deal, and probably the dream of a lot of teenage boys at that time. And when she autographed a piece of paper for me, and called me cutie, and wait till you get older, sort of thing, just teasing me. But to 12 or 13-year-old meeting Brooke Shields at that time, that was just huge. That was just massive. And one of the others was one of my fondest memories as well was Alan Thicke doing the warm up prior to the show starting and taping. Was that he would come out and talk to the audience a bit and warm them up. And one time he handed me the microphone to tell some jokes to the audience. And being 12 or 13, they were pretty lame jokes, I'm sure. But at the end of it, he had, talked to me about, just being brave to do that in front of the studio audience. And, and I did get some laughs, so that was pretty cool. And from that point on, I really enjoyed the performing part of it. So to this day, I still do stand-up comedy and really enjoy it. But at the end of doing those jokes, he had presented me with a copy of an album from the musical guest that night. It was Mary Lou Zahalem. And I remember watching intently and getting that album. And I was just really impressed. She was a great artist, great performer. And afterwards, she actually signed the record. Sorry, not a CD, if that's what I said. But back in that time, it was vinyl. and it was her new album that was out. She was gracious enough to sign it, and I've always remembered that because she was just very warm and welcoming and very friendly. And again, being a kid, you don't always expect that from grown-ups, especially celebrities and people that you're just in awe of seeing live and meeting. And so that's something that's really stuck out in terms of the Alan Thicke Show. And when I still do stand-up comedy today, I've done shows in Toronto, Vancouver, Los Angeles, and many, many places. But I've always accredited that to getting my first opportunity to stand in front of a crowd with a microphone and tell jokes and make people laugh. And I've just really thoroughly enjoyed it ever since. And although I have various interests in various business and work other areas, the hobby of mine has always been and always will be the stand-up comedy. And I think that they were so right in whoever it was that said, if you find something that you love, then it's not work. And to me, not only is business and what I do for my regular 9 to 5 not work, it's very enjoyable. But to be able to get out there and make people laugh and enjoy myself and not have the fear of an audience that I have was all credited back to Alan Thicke. And I know that I speak for many Canadians and many people around the world when I say that he will be deeply missed. And excuse me, I know that he'll be at the great talk show in the sky with many others that have gone before him. So thank you to Alan, and being a part of my memories growing up and the lives of many of other millions of people that have followed your career. So rest in peace. Thank you.